There is a hole in the ceiling of the Pantheon in Rome. It has been open to the sky for 2,000 years. When it rains, the water falls straight through, hits the marble floor, and drains away. The dome above it has never cracked, not once. Not in an earthquake, not in a flood, not in 2 world wars. Engineers have studied it for decades. They still can't fully explain how it's standing. The Pantheon isn't even the strangest one. In the harbor of Caesarea, there are Roman seawalls that have been underwater for 2,000 years. They haven't eroded. They've gotten stronger. Modern seawalls start falling apart after about 50 years. The Roman ones are hardening. Scientists ran the numbers. They couldn't believe what they found. Then there's the Great Pyramid of Giza. 8 million stone blocks. They were quarried, transported, and stacked with a precision of less than half a millimeter between them. You cannot slide a piece of paper between most of the joints. We don't fully know how they did it. We have theories, we have guesses. We have arguments between archaeologists that have been going on for 200 years. And then there's the one that keeps engineers up at night, the one that shouldn't exist at all. In 1900, a group of sponge divers hit a storm and took shelter in a nearby bay. One diver went down to look around. He came back up pale. On the ocean floor, 45 meters deep, was the wreck of a 2,000-year-old Roman cargo ship. They spent the next year pulling up statues, coins, jewelry, and then one of them surfaced with a lump of corroded bronze the size of a shoebox. Nobody paid much attention to it. It sat in a museum in Athens for the next 50 years until an archaeologist named Derek de Sola Price decided to x-ray it. What was inside stopped him cold. 37 interlocking bronze gears, hand-cut with a precision that wouldn't appear again in human history for another 1,400 years. When he mapped the full mechanism, he realized what it was. A computer, not electronic. You fed it a date. It told you where every planet in the solar system would be. It predicted lunar eclipses. It tracked the 4-year cycle of the Olympic Games. It did all of this simultaneously with a single hand crank. In 100 BC, we have found exactly one of these in 2,000 years of archaeology. Just one. Which means either the Greeks built exactly one or everything else like it is gone. The Roman concrete formula. It was used everywhere. Millions of tons of it poured across an empire that stretched from Scotland to Syria, and then Rome fell. Over about 300 years, the empire frayed. The trade routes that moved volcanic ash from the Bay of Naples to construction sites across Europe dried up. The engineers who knew the ratios retired, and within a few generations, the formula was gone. Not stolen, not destroyed, just forgotten. The medieval cathedral builders had the same problem. The men who built Notre Dame in Paris carried the construction techniques in their hands, not in books, in guilds, passed master to apprentice, generation to generation. When the Black Death hit Europe in the 1340s, it killed roughly 1/3 of the population. It also killed whole guild lineages in a matter of months. Techniques that had taken centuries to perfect were gone before anyone thought to write them down. The Library of Alexandria held an estimated 500,000 scrolls at its peak. Mathematics, medicine, engineering, astronomy, gone. We assume we are the pinnacle, the most advanced version of human civilization that has ever existed. And by some measures, that's true. We have antibiotics, we have satellites, we have the internet. But here's the thing. Everything you know how to do, you learn from someone who is still alive. When they die, some of it goes with them. There are fewer than 50 master craftsmen alive who know the traditional technique for making Venetian glass. There's one man in Japan, currently in his 80s, who is one of the last living masters of a specific form of sword-folding steel. When he dies, that knowledge will survive only in the objects he left behind. Civilization is not a thing. It's an agreement between the living to keep passing something forward. The Romans kept their end of the agreement for 700 years. Then, they didn't. And a dome that should have crumbled lasted longer than the empire that built it.